Greetings, fellow preppers. There's one thing that used to keep me up at nights: nuclear weapons and such. And being a nuclear specialist in the military, it's understandable. I've seen things that a lot of people haven't seen. But I have a new one now. It's not nuclear anymore. Now it's, wrapped up in a few things. Coronal mass ejections, problems with the sun, specifically on Earth. We could actually have a reversal or moving of the poles. All that stuff is very likely. And why is it scarier than nuclear? At least nuclear, you can do some kind of preparation for it. Some of this stuff coming from the sun could be so violent, it literally could be an extinction event. I mean, so could nuclear. But the sun would pretty much guaranteed to be if it was in just the right situation. This is an article very quickly. We're going to go through a few of these. What might happen if the Earth's magnetic poles flip? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They're already moving, they're already flipping, and it's actually accelerating. And the thing is, there are some things we can do about this. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you some links, some things that will help you prepare for, if we can prepare for this kind of an event. We're not going to say this for a long time, but what causes geomagnetic jerking? Traditionally, it's believed it was the liquid metallic core waving around that causes this movement. Some other scientists say there's bubbles in the core. Lots of reasons, lots of things happening there. It's not so important what causes it for us. More importantly, what are the attributes or what's it going to cause to us? When the Earth's magnetic poles flip, there you go, it could be chaos for future humans. And I want you to see this picture. I mean, not even necessarily for this video, but I'm going to talk about maps and compasses. Understand that the actual spin axis of the Earth is not the same as the magnetic axis of the Earth. And here's the magnetic poles, and they literally can flip and actually making it so the north and south magnetically are located somewhere else on the planet. And they say there is uncertainty about the effects of the reversal. Some scientists hypothesize, it'll simply be an extinction. If this magnetic shield around the Earth weakens enough during a reversal, it will allow more solar radiation to hit the Earth. And that is the major problem we're looking at, because we have this amazing, beautiful thing called Earth, which has all kinds of things under the atmosphere, ionosphere, the magnetosphere that protects us from solar radiation. When the sun releases, it doesn't even have to come from the sun, mind you, but when the sun releases a coronal mass ejection, these things are highly energetic, will literally fry us if it hits us on the Earth, but we have this beautiful thing called a magnetosphere that surrounds the Earth that makes it so it's not going to hit us specifically. Well, if the poles reverse, they usually weaken, even kind of disappear over some time. Some argue it's just a matter of days. Some can say it'll take decades for it to basically rebuild again. And at that time, as humans, we are 100% vulnerable. Cosmic radiation coming down, frying us. And this is another reason, by the way. If you look at the elites, they are building bunkers like crazy. And of course, people talk about what are they building the bunkers from? I talked about to get away from populations of people when crap hits the fan, but this could be another thing too, that if they go deep enough in the Earth, then they can make their own shielding and their own protective layer so they don't get fried as well like the rest of us will. Darn, why can't we be an elite and be able to move in with good old Bill Gates or Zuckerberg? I'd rather fry. But anyway, when we see these coronal mass ejections, that's the biggest problem, because understand we are heading into a solar maximum. In other words, these coronal mass ejections are significantly higher coming up over this next summer than they have been for years. And we're going to jump here for a second. It's funny, this article says, look, a solar maximum, it maximizes your chances of seeing the northern lights. Oh, that's nice. And don't get me wrong, I love seeing the northern lights, but they're missing the much bigger picture here. And the reason I actually picked this article was practically for this chart, because it lays it out nicely for us. We've seen lots of solar maximums throughout the years. The sun is on a very nice cycle. So we see one taking place, in the 50s, another one taking place in the, maybe 70, another one in early 80s, and it continues on. Then we have probably 2015 around there somewhere. But then we come up to 2024, 2025, and you already see it going up drastically. Who knows how high this is going to go? In other words, this is the time we're heading into, and where we're going to see chain reactions, lots of sunspots, solar wind, and northern lights. Think of them as enormous burps of electrically charged particles. The solar winds head in our direction. They are channeled by the Earth's magnetic field and block us so we don't get zapped. But if there's a polar reversal, we may get zapped. We may get zapped anyway. Understand that over the last few weeks, we've seen all kinds of disruptions. We saw internet systems going down. We saw cell phone signals going down. We even saw the earthquake in Taiwan. All of that is from what's happening in the sun right now. And it's interesting. A really good friend of mine messaged me and said, I think we saw one of those direct energy weapons from space zapping Taiwan, causing the earthquake. And I was like, that's really interesting because if you go to this channel, Suspicious Observers, and by the way, wow, fantastic channel. He goes through specifically what's happening with the sun and even causing a solar watch leading to earthquakes. And I tell you, he called it. I try to watch his videos practically every day, but a few days before the Taiwan quake, he said, wow, look, there's a huge fissure right here in the sun that puts us on a solar earthquake watch. Watch it. There may be an earthquake coming up on this day. I think it was a Wednesday, if I recall. And sure enough, on that Wednesday, boom, the huge earthquake in Taiwan. He really knows his stuff, But this goes beyond my brain too. Even though I have a physics degree, the stuff he knows simply boggles my mind. Obviously, he's an astrophysicist. I've never actually researched him, but you should certainly check out his channel. In fact, he talks about all kinds of different types of sun cycles, the magnetic pole shifts and flips again, losing Earth's magnetic field, obviously major problems, and even talks about this thing called a disaster cycle, which, honestly, it kind of scares me a little bit. So that's your first thing you should do is subscribe to his channel and check it out. And I personally don't know him. I've never talked to him, but again, fantastic channel. And it's something I reference often. This disaster cycle he talks about, he gives good evidence for it, by the way, that we see cataclysmic stuff coming that's so much that I don't know if we even have a chance of even surviving. It is an extinction level event for many species on the planet. I don't know, mankind always survives. And he thinks, by the way, that even this big disaster cycle is why the elites are hiding. It's interesting, very good. Now, one more thing you can look at too, because here's the thing. When we talk about EMPs, of course we're at risk for electromagnetic pulses from nuclear detonation in the ionosphere. Of course we are. It would take a few nuclear weapons in the ionosphere to permanently take down the U.S. grid. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's not even planned. It very well might be. But the EMP from a nuclear detonation is problematic. But if you have a large enough coronal mass ejection from the sun, it makes the EMPs pale in comparison. And it's interesting because when I see like those EMP shields people have for their house, which I highly recommend them, by the way, it's a very good thing, a good product to have. They don't sponsor me or anything, but I know these work. They've been tested using EMPs in the lab, which we can do very easily, by the way. It makes it so it shunts all the extra current that comes to your house from an EMP to the ground and doesn't fry your house or electronics and such. But from what I've understood and what I've read about this, the coronal mass ejections, especially when you get into like a Carrington event, X-class flares like X40s are so powerful, it's even too much for the EMP shield to take that kind of energy. I can't say for certain if that's the case. That seems to be the case. But, I mean, it shouldn't stop you at least from getting the EMP shield. It's cheap enough to protect your house if there's an EMP or possibly a smaller coronal mass ejection. But these coronal mass ejections are so incredibly powerful, it pales the EMPs in comparison. And if they are erupted from the sun in such a way that it's going to cause these problems, it could hit the Earth in 30 minutes. I mean, with nuclear weapons, we only have a certain amount of time as far as if launches come over, and that's if the government warns us. But are they going to even warn us about a coronal mass ejection? Is there something we can even do? I mean, at the very least, you'll prepare it like a nuclear detonation, get your stuff in your Faraday cage and everything quickly. But the problem is, how are you going to be warned by this? Let me show you. This is the app right here, my friend. It's called Space Weather Live. You can install it. I get notifications from them constantly talking about the different types of storms coming through. We have geomagnetic storm, etc. So if there's any hope of you receiving any type of, warning from the sun, they look at sunspots or any type of coronal mass ejections that's coming in our direction, this would be it. I love Suspicious Observer. I watch them all the time. But this is an actual warnings app for your phone to let you know things are heading our way, which could be absolutely catastrophic. So why does this keep me up at night? I mean, it really doesn't really keep me up at night, much like nuclear weapons. Literally, I'd wake up in sweats. But this is my biggest concern. This is my biggest worry when I look at cataclysmic events, because it is 100% out of our hands. There's nothing we can do. And when we look at literally these, like his disaster cycle, again, very compelling evidence. It's one of those things where I don't know if I even should prep for this, because I don't know if I could prep for this. And could I even survive this kind of thing? But at least for coronal mass ejections, you certainly can survive these. I'm not saying it couldn't cause major problems. An EMP, grid going down, we're looking at 80, 90% of the population dying from killing each other. But again, we can prepare for those things. Food, water, having weapons, ammunition. being trained, being physically fit, so many things that we can do to be prepared for that. We should be doing that now. And that's the whole point of prepping and being prepared. We can't prep for everything. We can't prep for this disaster cycle, which will probably wipe us clean, but we can prepare for other stuff. And that's the whole point of this video, guys. Continue to prep, continue to prepare, and be ready for every possible contingency that may be coming our way. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to Suspicious Observer and make sure you get that app so you can at least be ready in case something does come. Thanks for watching.